questions as well, or talk to them about me. How we mean to you and all that. No, but enjoy the class.
This is just a couple of my razors I have. I have probably close to 100, 150. Beautiful. When it's in your textbook, when was shaving become popular? Remember when?
Alexander the Great?
Well, yeah. Well, they were out fighting, you know, and they all had long beards. And what happened is the enemy would grab their beard and then they would stab them or something. So he made sure that all his warriors, everybody, shaved their beards so they didn't have an extra advantage, you know. So I hear this school here doesn't believe you have to shave to and learn to shave for the exam. Well, we just had an exam Monday, and there were 6 of them that flunked, and they flunked probably with 72, 71. You got to have 75. So if you think you don't have to learn how to shave, well, you better think twice, because if they would have done a little better on their shave, they probably would have passed.
But a lot of black people don't like to shave.
Yes, they do. I mean, Mr. Knox's school, they shave every Thursday. They have a class, and they go in there and they shave.
But a lot of people bump up with the shave.
Well, you got to know how to shave them. You know, you don't go against the grain. You go with it or cross it, but don't go against. You stretch the skin tight.
I work in a barber shop, and we have several that come in and shave every week.
Well, I mean, like the older generation, but not people my age, they don't want that.
Well, that's what you say, but we hear it all the time, they shave, you know. And they all want to shave, because they shave everything, not just the face, but, you know, they shave everything.
Yeah, they like mainly use this stuff.
Well, they use a straight razor. I've been in it, you know, I've been in this business 55 years. Here's my first razor that I got back in 1956. And it's still a good razor, it still works. You know, so I don't know how many, yeah, I know you use the injector blades, but you can still use these because you can sanitize these just as well as the others, you know. And I don't know, are you going to start teaching them honing and stropping?
Mm-hmm.
But you have the canvas and you have the leather, right? The canvas will get some of the rough edges off. And a lot of people, when you start in the barber school, when I did, you know, it's all in here. It's not this. If you break your wrist, then you're going to mess up. It's just this here. See how I just move it back and forth?
Rolling it with his fingers.
And that takes it, and then this here gets a little smoother.
In our textbook, it says not to use the canvas after the first hone. Is that correct?
After you hone it?
Yes.
Well, but then once you, after you first hone it, then you use the leather. But then once you're cutting hair, you know, and every customer, and I still use this type of razor, I still don't use the injector. And so I get through with the customers, then I cut the next guy's hair, then I use, you know, it's still sharp enough, so you use this cloth, and then
Obviously, you're working in your strop on when you use strop paste, and a lot of times I've seen on TV where they go like this with their hands on the strop.
well, yeah, they clean it off or something, and then what you do is you could put lather on there and wash it.
Lather?
Sure you
Okay.
can. Yeah. This one here, pretty old. Look at there, this guy's name, and he cut his name in there. Jerry Coleman, 1941. He worked with my dad. My dad obviously inherited this one. Jerry, I don't know if he passed on or he just retired, but this is an old one. Where did most of the hones come from? You know, the straws. Remember where they were made? Russia was one country that made some good, had good leather straws. Okay, you wanted to learn how to hone. Here's a carborundum. This is the one that I got. Pardon?
Denmark?
Uh,
Oh, no, that's a
No.
synthetic.
Right, yeah. This one is here from the United States. This is the one I used from barber school too, in the late 50s. So you start out with carborundum, and there's always one good side to the other, and I forgot to tell you the truth how to, but I have an arrow here pointing up, so this is the side you use first. And you put a little lather on it. Yes, you're done. Okay. I think Gladys, Alma, when she first took her instructor exam, there's some questions about honing and stropping on there. And one of the questions is, how much of the hone do you use when you're honing? Is it the whole length, half of the hone, or 3/4 of the hone? Does anybody want to guess what you would probably use? Probably 3/4. You wouldn't use the whole one because you got your hand here, your fingers. Now this is just the opposite of stropping. You go with the razor this way to sharpen it. This is to take off the big nicks and so on and so forth. So
How often do you find yourself doing that?
this, if you have a good razor, you don't have to do this very often. I mean, I'm not working in the shop full time anymore, but I haven't honed my razor in months because it's sharp enough. I just get enough of it there. It's sharp enough. So you use 3/4, and if you do the whole thing, then you're going to cut yourself. So this is how you do it. This way here, you go like this, you go like this, and that takes off the big nicks. Okay, and that's what you use to rough for the carborundum. Then when you get a nice finish, you have the little swatty. It's a lot smoother and and this is one, and you can put lather on there too, but that's the same. This gets you really a nice finish.
With a nice stone that's 1,500 grit. Would that be comparable?
Probably, yeah. If you didn't know how to shave years ago, you weren't a barber. People wouldn't not even go and see you. Even they just cut their hair, because you had to be. I remember when you go in your shop, I mean, to get a job, if you couldn't know how to use a razor and shave, they wouldn't even hire you. Because everybody years ago used, and now that it's coming back, shaves are coming back. A lot. You go to work for V's barber shop, they shave all the time. You know, and they're the high class barber shops right now. He's got how many in town? Probably 8 or 9 in town. He's franchising them all over the country now. He's got them in California, in Illinois, and Texas, and he just opened one in Pennsylvania. And you think of a barbershop, years ago you think, wow, if you paid $5,000 for a barbershop, that's a lot of money. Well, to get just his franchise, B's Barbershop, it's $175,000 just for the franchise, and then you got to pay so much each month for him. So They do, and they usually have about 10 chairs, and they're all full. And I remember we go in and inspect them, and a couple weeks ago I went in, and out of the 10 chairs, there was eight guys getting shaved. And they charge $30-some for haircut and shave. Up to $42 just for haircut and shave. A lot of the shops you see around here where they charge $8, $9 for a haircut. So you can make some money in this business. So, but speaking about it, my dad's probably one of the best shavers I've ever seen. He was 19 years old when he came from Italy, and he went to New York City. He got a job in a barber shop in a Jewish neighborhood. And I mean to tell you, he got really chewed up in the beginning, because very few quick shaves. But after a while, he was one of the best shavers there. You know, they would shave, he would shave them, and boy, they'd scream and holler at anybody. You know, they wouldn't pull any punches. They would let you know that, hey, you don't know what you're doing, buddy. But he became good. There's certain one of these here Swatties are better than others for his. You know, I've always just used any of them, and they worked. But this was his, and it was longer, and he cut it in half, shared it with another one. Look how thin that is. He had to glue wood to it just to hold it so he could hold his razor. He said that he never saw a home this good. And I don't know why it's any better, but you know, it was. You know, you could even feel it just even a little smoother than the other. But this is how this here says 1941 also, when he probably cut it in half and shared it with one of his barbers. It might have been Jerry Coleman, I don't know. But and then when you hone and strop it, then how you test it to see how if it's sharp or not is you test it on your nail. See, now this one's not real sharp right now because it's real smooth. But when it's real sharp, it'll dig into your nail, and then it'll drag, and it's hard to get it through. But this here one's a little smooth. It would shave. It's not bad, but it's not perfect. So that's how you test it. My dad used to even test it on his finger. I'm not that brave to do it, but he used to do it on the skin. But this is how you really do it. So this is a red imp, and everybody in my era was given a razor, and it's called the brand is the Red Imp. That's a devil. Okay, so years ago, you know, there was a lot of diseases in the beard and when you're shaving, and so you didn't want to share the brush or mug, the same mug with everybody. If somebody had a disease and then you just use it, that's why some states don't let you use mugs anymore. You can still use them here, but they got to be sanitized. This was one of mine that I used years ago. I forgot to bring mine.
Would it be a paper that you would stick in there, or you just sanitize it out every time?
Yeah, you just got to rinse it out, sanitize it, and then this here you got to wash it up. But very seldom people. There are a couple guys that old times that still use these just to shave around the ears. They put it here and they go around the ear, and then they shave the arch. And some of them don't even have that. I know a couple guys that don't even have a latherizer still. Now, when you went, since there was diseases, you'd get, what are some of the diseases you remember? Yeah, anthrax, but there was something else too. And
Mercer.
it's called the barber's itch, it was called, but that was a slang for the disease you got. So if you got a shave, and a lot of gentlemen used to get a shave every morning before went to work years ago, or at least once a week in a barbershop. Since when there was diseases coming, and all of a sudden they'd all buy their own mug. And that's why today, if you look in some of the barber books, they're called occupational mugs. This isn't the real one, this is a fake, but it's a policeman. I got one at home that's a fireman mug, He was a gentleman I bought it